Good morning. Before we begin the program this morning, I want to take just a moment and welcome our superintendent and his distinguished cabinet, as well as the principal beginning in 2018-2019, Dr. Jay Dostal, who is over here to my left. Welcome to Fayetteville High School. As we begin this remembrance program, we begin with condolences to the families, the friends, and the school community of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Our hearts are heavy, and please remain silent as the names of those who lost their lives are read. Elisa Oladeff, a freshman. Martin Anguinio, a freshman. Scott Beagle, geography teacher. Nicholas Doret, senior. Aaron Feiss, assistant football coach. Jamie Gutenberg, freshman. Christopher Hickson, athletic director. Luke Hoyer, freshman. Kara Lochran, freshman. Gina Montalto, freshman. Joaquin Oliver, senior. Elena Perry Petty, freshman. Meadow Pollock, senior. Helena Ramsey, senior. Alex Schechter, freshman. Carmen Shantrup, senior. Peter Wang, freshman.
Thank you all for coming out. I'm Huxley Richardson, and I'll start us off. So I'd like to start us off with a few questions. If tomorrow wasn't promised, what would you give for today? How would you spend your last 86,400 seconds? Would you spend it on your own personal gain, or would you spend it on the one beside you? Like Aaron Feiss, the assistant football coach at Parkland, did. Now right now you're probably standing beside one of your good friends. If something were to happen to them that threatened their lives, would you risk yours? FHS is a community, and a safe community at that. But that's what students across America thought about their school as well. That's what many parents, teachers, administrators, coaches, and so many more thought. Nobody wants to live in fear. But a parent has every right in the world to send their kid to school and wholeheartedly believe that he or she will come back safely on the bus. Or he or she will hop in their car in this carpool line safely. But not only do families have this right to this peace of mind, we as students have a right to exist in a safe place. We as students have the right to be free of unnecessary violence. And until then, change needs to happen. Admiral William H. McRaven once said, "One person can change the world by giving others hope." He said, find someone to help you through life and to face down the bullies and lift up the trodden. Our world is a shared experience, fractured by individual perspectives. And I believe the only way to make change is to stick together. I want to believe that generations to come can feel safe at home, can feel safe at school, and walking down the street. I want to believe that children and grandchildren can greet a stranger and make a friend. And I want to believe that what it started here with us students will have changed the world for better. Our next speakers will be Becca Tomlinson and Kinsey Carson.
Kinsey and I wrote a speech in concern and fear after the Parkland shooting. We believe that the issue of school safety is one we can all stand behind.
An epidemic of school shootings has recently filled the news and public with fear. The first mass school shooting to start this was in Arkansas, occurring on March 24, 1998 in Jonesboro. This is much greater than any school drama. This is life or death. This is your future. Your friends' and families' lives are on the line. Everyone's life, no matter the ethnicity, gender, sexuality, or race, is precious and valuable. So it is time for us all to come together as one in order to prevent a future of more deaths in not just schools, but anywhere. We do not wish to take away your Second Amendment rights. Instead, we want the laws to be updated, just like how the guns have been updated since the time the Bill of Rights was written. It is not our teachers' jobs to take bullets for us. We, the students, need to take a stand. Our future should be in our hands, not in the hands of those carrying firearms with bad intentions. Emma Gonzalez, a student from Stoneman Douglas High School, noted, "This is not a mental health issue. He wouldn't have harmed that many people with a knife." Mental health issues are international. Mass shootings are American. America alone owns 42% of the world's guns, yet we are less than 5% of the world's population, a statistic from CNN. Tell me how we, the students, are supposed to feel safe going to school, being unaware of when or where the next school shooting will be. How are we supposed to focus on school and getting a good education when we fear the place that provides said education? Maybe teachers should just start educating us on how to keep someone alive until the ambulance gets there, since our government can't figure out how to stop these shootings from happening. While in Australia, the government was able to buy back 3,500 guns per 100,000 people, which resulted in a 50% drop in firearm homicides. Or maybe the students should be taught about the consequences of shootings and how they'll get arrested just for making the threat. Or we could just prevent unworthy people from buying and possessing semi-automatic weapons in the first place. Some people believe that even with these stricter laws, if someone really wanted to kill all those people, they would find a way to get a hold of firearms anyway, which is a valid argument. But in other countries like Canada, Australia, and Japan that have enforced these stricter laws, the mass shootings have either stopped or decreased to a point where there have only been 2 or 3 in years. While America's mass shooting tracker reveals that there was 427 mass shootings in 2017 alone. This is a problem that should have been solved years ago, and I do not know the answers to prevent these shootings, but I do know that we have access to some of the greatest minds in the world. How many innocent lives have to be taken to the point where it is enough? What is the number? When the topic of time travel comes up, the first thing discussed is usually the butterfly effect. It is said that if you change one thing, no matter how big or small, nor irrelevant it seems, it'll change the fate of the future. But no one thinks about the butterfly effect in the present, how one person, school, or city can start that change. It is up to us, the students of the present. Let us be that change. Let us start a butterfly effect. Let this generation go down in the history books for demanding change when we saw the need. It doesn't matter if you are Democrat, Republican, or Independent. These are children's lives we are talking about. We need to come together as a nation and challenge the political powers to find a solution to majorly decrease the mass shootings in the U.S. This concerns everyone. This could happen anywhere, and I'm sure that none of the victims ever thought it would happen to them, but it did. It is your human right to have whatever thoughts and ideas you wish on gun control, but it is also your human right to live and to not live in fear. This is not about guns. This is about people's lives being stripped from them. I think that we can all agree that mass shootings are wrong, and we need to come up with a solution to keep our country safe. In the Constitution, it says, "Establish justice and ensure domestic tranquility," which means to keep the peace in our nation. Therefore, as high school students, the one thing we shouldn't be worrying about is our safety and peace at school. But if the government isn't going to do anything about it, then we, the people, need to do something. This trend of school shootings started in our state in 1998. Therefore, a movement to end it needs to start in our state in 2018, 20 years later. We are the next generation to change the world. It starts with us. Sincerely, the students in fear.
Our next speaker will be Cora Ferguson.
What I want to emphasize before I speak to you all today is that we all stand here together to remember the students we lost, and we cannot forget that. In a time of strife, confusion, and uncertainty, it is far too easy to allow for the conflict to continue and remain complacent in a system that pits us against each other, as if we are each other's enemy. But this is not true. We are not each other's enemies, and it is dangerous to continue as such. I look out at everyone here today, and I do not see a group divided, but I see a group united. There is power in numbers, and together we stand up and use our voices to fight for our safety. A right we are privileged to have in this country. We have the right to speak up for what we believe in and stand in solidarity with our fellow Americans. And I am inspired to see all of you here today exercising that right. No matter how we believe to solve the problem of gun violence, we all know it is a problem. So I say we ask our representatives not only to give the students in Parkland their thoughts and prayers, but to ensure that we feel safer in the future. Before that, it is important that we make each other feel safe with our words and our actions. We can do so much more by just enacting kindness and understanding to foster a sense of community, so that we may cooperate for a safer future. We should resist the urge to respond with fear with further attacks. We are the future of this country and of the world, but we are together. We are united, and we stand in solidarity with the students mourning their peers. Their peers that had goals and passions just like us. They lost a soccer player, a geography teacher, a winter guard member, a swimmer, a football coach, a dancer, a band member, a national merit semifinalist, and many others. They also lost multiple junior ROTC students who were training to defend this country. All these students, these teachers, we have individuals just like them here at Fayetteville High School. They were sisters and brothers and daughters and sons, and we lost 17 bright, shining souls a month ago. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School is full of world changers, just like us here in Fayetteville. And a month ago, they lost 17 of those world changers. I cannot imagine losing 17 students from Fayetteville High School, because I look out and I see all of these shining faces, and you are all going to change the world. And they lost those 17 world changers. I cannot imagine the pain they feel, and they are not alone. It is not just Parkland that is grieving, it is the entire country. And we must work together and band together in the wake of the tragedy, because we are the future, and we should be the generation that starts to work together, because we are together. Thank you.
Our last speaker will be Zara Razor.
Today, I want to talk to you about a reality that I know you are familiar with. Here at FHS, almost every student that walks through Bulldog Lobby was born in or after 1999. Almost every student was born after Columbine, and every student was born after the horrific shooting here in Jonesboro. For us, this is our reality. It's how we've grown up, with a deep-rooted insecurity about our safety. And this insecurity is one that is shared with all of our peers across America. And I can tell you that it's a fear that the students at Parkland also grew up with. We share that with them. It's our terrible generational quirk, what one day may define us whenever we talk about Generation Z. But even more than this, the students at Parkland are the same as the students here at FHS. They too had plans to go to prom, to pick up their yearbook, to graduate, to go to college. Juniors at Parkland were anxious to be seniors. The students at Parkland were becoming young adults, much like we are. They endured long days at school that gave away to homework and after-school jobs. The students at Parkland look like you, they look like your friends, they look like FHS. I want to ask two things of you today as we walk away from this. First, I want you to remember the victims. I want you to say their names with the same reverence that you speak your friends' names. I want you to hold them close to your chest and to feel the pain that the students at Parkland are feeling. Do not let the students at Parkland carry their grief alone. We need to grieve too. We grieve for those who may have sat across from us in college seminars or coffee shops who could have been future friends. Our peers will do the same great things that they would have and help the students at Parkland carry some of the weight of their grief. And I want you to say their names and to drown out the name of the perpetrator. I refuse to say his name, and I hope that you do too. If you read an article about him, I want you to think about the victim stories. How Fred Gutenberg said of his daughter Jamie, who is 14 years old, that as a 10-year-old, she would often hang out with her neighbor who had Asperger's syndrome. She would always be a friend to her. That's just who she is and always has been. I want you to think about Joaquin Oliver's dad, wearing his basketball shoes as he painted a memorial that said that he demanded action that could have saved Joaquin's life. I want you to think about the two teachers, Mr. Bagel and Coach Weiss, who died protecting their students. And Peter Wang, a young man who was in the junior ROTC program, who was holding the door for his peers when he died. I want you to drown out the infamy that some will try to give to the perpetrator. He doesn't deserve it. I want you to replace it with love and respect for those who should be in class with us today. However you are feeling, it is valid. It is right to be sad. It is right to be angry. It is right to be disillusioned. But it is also right to ask for change and to beg for a better future for our children. Here at FHS, let's remember the victims of the Parkland shooting, but let us also remember the victims of the 122 school shootings that have happened since Columbine. Today and every day, let's be good to each other and remind each other of the power that one voice and one vote has. It is immeasurable when silence is deafening.
On behalf of all of the speakers today, we just wanted to say thank you to Ms. Jacoby and Dr. Wendt for being such advocates for this walkout. Without their support, it couldn't have happened. So please give a round of applause. We are very lucky to be in a district like Fayetteville that supports its students, unlike other unnamed schools who are being punished for participating in a walkout today. So again, thank you guys for being such a wonderful district and a place we're all proud to be members of.
Again, our sincere thanks to Dr. Wynn, his administrative staff, and we welcome Dr. Dostal, principal for 2008, beginning in 2018. More than anything else, I appreciate your respect that you have shown to all of the speakers who have been here today. At this time, we're going to go ahead and dismiss into two groups. Those who are going to be participating in the march and have cleared the attendance office will proceed out the gate to my left, your right, and other students will return either to class or to lunch. Again, thank you for the respect and thank you to the central office administration.